Dong.
Dong.
Episode 257, we're going out to Macau this week. Yo, if you're one of our newer subs, we're almost to 1,000 subs. Appreciate you guys grilling and chilling. You came for the shorts, now stay for the locks. Last week, Meatboy, we got back on track with the Meatlock. It was a high confidence, heavy hammer, a one-time YOLO where we basically went all in, saying that Petrosky and Cody Brundage, the fight would not go the distance. It went exactly as we thought it would. Slept Petrosky in the second round. What'd you make of the heavy hammer Meatlock, and how does it feel to be back in the green?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we knew this was going to hit. That's why we went so heavy. And yeah, we were back in the green, and it feels very good.
It was very easy call. The first round was kind of close, I guess, but then we knew one of the captains of the dive team was going to go down. It happened to be Petrosky. You called that. Either way, we both went 2-1. We were all over the Superboy over Daniel Santos. That was pretty easy light work, an absolute demolition. And in the meat event, we both had Melky Costa. Arnold Allen 5-0'd him. It was non-competitive. Arnold Allen is basically one of the top dudes still in the division. Might not ever win the belt, but is going to beat essentially everyone else. So, do you have any last thoughts on the Duster from 2 weeks ago, or are you just trying to go to Macau?
No, Dusty 1, now we're on to Dusty 2.
Yeah, Dusty 2 indeed. Swap us through. Jake Matthews is a high confidence lock in this one against Carlston Harrison. This was originally supposed to be Jake Matthews versus the Kung Fu Panda Muslim Salikov, and that fight could have been a little bit more interesting, perhaps more competitive, but we think that Carlston Harris off the couch, 3 days notice, is going into a bad situation against a fighter like Jake Matthews, who is very well rounded, doesn't always have the sexiest performances, but is an MMA fighter who doesn't have a lot of weaknesses and can exploit yours if you have them. And we know that Carlston Harris is a dude who struggles with the grappling and will likely get ragdolled by Jake Matthews in this one. So what do you make of this Meatlock? Obviously, Jake Matthews did just lose to Neil Magny, which is never a good look, but Carlston has been slept 2 straight, both easy light work by Chaos and Pawns. As this Meatlock, do you think Jake Matthews wins by finish, or is this just going to be a typical Jake Matthews dominant potential snoozer of a decision?
Honestly, it's probably going to be a Jake Matthews snoozer, but I feel like he probably will get a finish. I mean, they're really trying to build him up, but they're trying to give him this free dub, and I think Jake Matthews is due for a spectacular finish. I mean, he was a hot prospect for a minute, and then he kind of fell off a little bit, and then now he's just kind of staling around, just being mediocre. So I think he's due for something spectacular. I hope he gets it done in spectacular fashion, but probably a stale, basic decision.
Yeah, it's crazy because he's already accumulated 15 wins, right? He's 15-8 in the UFC, but I think it would be fair to say that he perhaps hasn't lived up to the early hype that he had, about a decade ago at this point. But he's still in his early 30s and could still be peaking. I feel like Jake Matthews, despite having a wealth of experience, has more to show. So we like this as a high confidence Meatlock over a guy off the couch in Harris, who again has been slept twice, is almost 40, and has a lot of discernible weaknesses. So we're keeping it simple, throwing down an easy 330 to net 100. Keep us in the green again. The heavy hammer of 2 weeks ago got us back where we belong. Now it's just a slow sizzle back to the greenery. But any last thoughts on the Meatlock? Are you officially going Jake Matthews finish or decision?
I'm going to go Jake Matthews by decision.
Matthew's decision, usually safe. Let us know in the comments if you agree with the Meatlock or if you think Carlston Harris is going to sleep him and spoil the Meatlock like I believe he once did against Jeremiah Wells. But this is a different story. Either way, swap us through, Meat Boy. It's Alex Perez taking on Sumu Darji, and scrap that. Alex Perez is probably going to miss weight, and this fight likely gets scrapped. So keep us moving. Let's go. Sergey Pavlovich is taking on Taliesin Teixeira, the Thumb, who is fresh off a snoozer of a dub. Obviously, was one of the worst contests that we've seen in recent years against Bam Bam Tuivasa, but it was good to see him rebound after getting absolutely fraud checked and slept in 30 seconds by the Black Beast in a fight where he was a sizable favorite and basically got knocked out in the first punch. So this is an interesting one that the UFC has given him in Sergey Pavlovich, who is a dude who only loses to the best and is a minus basically 500 favorite in this one against the Thumb. So do you think that the odds makers are correct and this is a terrific mismatch where Taliesin Teixeira is toast, or is Sergey Pavlovich not worthy of a minus 500 favorite?
Yeah, Sergey Pavlovich, I mean, minus 500. It's not that wild, but it's a little wild, to be fair. I mean, Pavlovich, he was on a nice tear, then got snuffed by the GOAT. Um, been, kind of 50-50 here and there. Lost to Volkov. I don't know, but Texera, he's he's probably gonna get knocked out. To be honest, I think Sergey's probably gonna finish him first round or get finished first round. This is gonna be an absolute slobber knocker. Pumped to see if the Pavlovich puts the fear back in the fans or not, because I feel like people kind of forgot about him. I know I did up until right now. I'm like, oh, I forgot about this guy. Everyone thought he was the boogeyman. Everyone thought he was gonna beat Tom Lockspinall. Like, absolute delusional people. But now they realize who the goat is. And yeah, I think he should get this done. But minus 490, I don't know. That's a little stretch. Minus the 300 would have been just fine in my opinion, but I think he gets it done.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he should get this one done. It's minus 500 probably is a little bit egregious, but the thumb is pretty bad. And the fight that we saw, yes, he got the win over Bam Bam. That was just a fight where like the judges had to award someone a victor. I don't know if either guy was necessarily deserving of having a win for that performance, but either way, officially, it's a W in the column. And when you analyze Sergey's losses, to your point, this dude was 18-1, right? He's 8-3 in the UFC, but when he was 18-1, I mean, if you remember, he was finishing everyone, right? He had like 6 straight KO finishes. Blades was in there. Black Beast, Tuivasa was in there as well. And everyone was getting smoked. He runs into Tom Aspinall, gets absolutely exposed in one round. And ever since then, he's fought in 3 straight decisions. He won a decision against Waldo Cortez, who himself is a decision machine. To me, suggests that Pavlovich has learned a lot and truly improved after losing those 2 straight to Aspinall and Volkov. So I'm curious, do you think any chance this fight goes 15 minutes, or is Talison Teixeira just not going to be evading all the punches that Waldo was able to and that Jairzinho was able to in going the distance? Like, is this a fight that Talison, it's just unlikely that he survives anyway?
Yeah, I think it's just unlikely that he survives anyway, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think Sergey wins this one easy light work, but whether he gets a finish or somehow this sneaks into the second round is a mystery. Either way, Sergey is the pick. Let us know in the comments if you think it's an under 1.5, maybe even under 60-second banger, but it should be easy light work for Sergey. Either way, swap us through. It's another one featuring an aging veteran versus a one-time surging hype beast. Zhang Ming Yang, the Mountain Tiger, is 19-7. 3-1 was all the rage. Then he got smoked by Johnny Walker, and we were all over that. If you remember, we had picked Johnny Walker as a sizable dog. He's checking him with those brutal kicks, and Zhang Mingyang had zero answer. But he's now getting an easier hometown can in Atomic Alonzo Menafield, who himself is 17-6-1, but is pushing 40 versus the surging Mountain Tiger hypebeast. So, do you like Zhang Mingyang as a minus 233 favorite in this one, or do you like the experience of Menafield? Do you like the fact that he's gone against a lot of tough guys and Zhang Mingyang remains untested? What are your thoughts on this co-meet? Who gets it done?
Yeah, no, this is a solid. I mean, this is a solid co-meet, I would say. But the Zanger, this is one of those ones where like, hey, they're trying to set him up for Alonzo Menafield for an easy light work, but like, is it gonna be? I don't know. I kind of like Alonzo Menafield as a sleepy dog. I mean, Zing is kind of bad, but he was very high prospect. They're really trying to build him for this as a Chinese fighter, as a top prospect. But like, I don't know. This is more of a pick 'em in my opinion, and I think I'm gonna take Alonzo in this one. I think I'm gonna take the dog in this one. I think this is a dog snuff fest, and I could totally see him getting this done.
Yeah, I don't blame you for going with the juicy dog in this one. I think that they definitely pushed him too soon when they gave him that meat event in front of the hometown crowd. So here now is a second opportunity. It's a co-meet nonetheless, but Menafield to me is a guy who's a little bit lower on the totem pole versus Johnny Walker. And I think the UFC thought that Zhang Ming Yang, I mean, the odds makers did as well. They thought Zhang Ming Yang was going to smoke Johnny Walker, and he really didn't. So I'm curious if Menafield, to your point, brings a similar outcome, and perhaps Alonzo Menafield is just as good against Zhang Ming Yang as Johnny Walker was. But if you're taking Menafield, how do you anticipate this fight going down? Is he going to get some takedowns? Any chance he sleeps him on the feet? Because Zhang Ming Yang's a big dude, but he was unable to check those kicks. Menafield, not much of a kicker. You're taking Atomic Alonzo. How's he get it done?
Yeah, I think Alonzo Menafield gets it done by KO. I think he's gonna get him to the ground and TKO him on the ground after maybe a leg kick drop or a haymaker atomic bomb punch.
Yeah, and we know Menafield is a guy who has gone through some hype beast, right? Julius Walker, fight of the night, he wins that one. And Umar C, who was an extremely hyped up prospect, Menafield went through him easy light work. So this could be a levels test. I'm ever so slightly going to lean with Zhang Ming Yang. That's where my gut was at. The more I've been thinking about it, I've been seeing pathways for Menafield. I mean, this dude's been in there against a lot of tough guys and has beaten many of them, but something tells me Zhang Ming Yang will have rectified some of those mistakes from the Johnny Walker contest, and I think we'll see a better version of him. So I'm gonna go Zhang Ming Yang. I'm gonna go Zhang Ming Yang by finish. I think Menafield, this might be the last time we see him, and he got slept really bad by Volkan. It wasn't too long ago. I think that's what we're getting again in this one. So Volkan slept him. Any last thoughts on Alonzo versus Zhang Ming Yang?
No, I think this is a funny fight, a fun one, and yeah, I think Menafield's gonna drop in a.
Davison Figueiredo, aka Figgy, the former champ, has lost 3 of 4 and has one recent win against Montel Jackson, which was a controversial split. But when you peel back the layers, the losses are to Peter Yan, Corey Sandhagen, and Umar Nurmagomedov. So we see Figgy as this dude who still is capable of beating the Montel Jacksons and many, many others. But when pitted up against those top 3 guys, in this era of Figgy, he is falling slightly short. So the best question would be, where do you rank Song Yadong? Is this a fighter who you still believe could have championship ambitions, and in so doing will be in that Jan Sandhagen Umar conversation of fighters who absolutely smoke Figgy? Or is Song Yadong an unjustified minus 526 favorite, and he's basically just Montel Jackson 2.0, and Figgy's going to expose him as a dog?
Yeah, this is a very interesting one, and I do worry for Figgy because the Donger, he starts off hot, comes out hot. It's intense. The Dong is no joke in that first round. Now, when he hits second, third, fourth, fifth round, that's when Figgy I think starts to thrive. I mean, Figgy he does come in heavy, he does run in hot, but I've never seen Figgy gas. So Figgy does have the tank. I've seen the Donger gas him many times. So I think the beginning of the fight, it's a pick 'em, maybe slightly edges to Dong, but the longer the fight
It should
goes,
be
I think Figgy's gonna get it done.
my fault. And if you're taking Figgy in this one, when do you see this fight ending? Do you see Figgy getting one of those patented early finishes like he did back in the day, or is this a grind him out affair? If you're leaning with the juicy dog, how does this fight play out? How does he win this?
Yeah, it's a good question, and man, I could see Figgy dominating. I mean, I would be very interested to see if Song tries to grapple or tries to wrestle him because Figgy's grappling in jiu-jitsu is no joke. Very scary thing. So I think the Dongs don't want to keep it on the feet. I think Figgy will be able to take him down at will, to be honest. I don't know. I honestly think Figgy outclasses him anywhere and everywhere. The only thing I worry about is Song's explosiveness, speed, power, and his strength. Like I could see him being slightly bigger or stronger, but then again, I don't know. I gotta see them side by side. I've never seen them standing by each other, but Song does seem like a little bit thicker, a little stronger, maybe a little faster, but he gasses out quicker too.
Yeah, to your earlier point, this is a dude in Song who I don't know if there's a better first, even second round fighter than Song Yadong. I mean, this dude comes out absolutely like a bat out of hell, and it starts to taper off as the fight progresses. But those early 10 minutes, dude, the dude is dialed. He's as fast as anyone out there, and really is an extremely dangerous fighter. So, can he sustain that? Has he rectified those late gas tank issues? And will be able to do that in the 3, 4, and 5 rounds against Davis and Figueiredo, or could it be an opportunity for Figgy to capitalize late? I'm kind of on the side of Song and Dong in this one. I think minus 520 is crazy. I mean, the other long odds Sergey Pavlovich fight to me is way more justified over the thumb than Song Yadong is of even longer odds over Figgy. And while yes, Figgy is 38, the Donger is 28. Song didn't impress me in that fight against Sean O'Malley, which was his most recent fight. And that was a fight I was pretty bullish on Song Yadong. I thought not only would he win that fight, but he would do so decisively. And I was pretty underwhelmed with that outing. And I don't know. I don't feel like Song Yadong will be a dude that carries bad negative energy into a second fight, especially as the guy headlining on the marquee in his hometown. But I do wonder against Figgy if this could be a little bit closer than what the odds suggest. But ultimately, I'll go Song Yadong. I'm officially gonna go. I'm gonna go Song by decision. You're going Figgy finish.
I'm gonna go Figgy finish submission.
Let us know if Figgy returns to his finishing ways. It's been a minute. Cody No Love got slept at UFC 300, but that was over 2 years ago. So we'll see if Song is also singing and sleeping. But either way, Meat Boy, Macau is the meet down. We have a duster next week, and then it's at the White House for some epic readjustments in Meat Boy MMA world. So any last thoughts on UFC Macau?
No, this is another Dusty Dink, and yeah, it should be interesting to see.